Well, listen, when I say that when my children are in the house, me lock my door. I lock my door when I go to sleep, and I sleep with a gun close by. And a lot of people are like, "You're so paranoid. You don't have to do all that. Those are your children." Yeah, right. Imagine if earlier during the day you disciplined one of your children. You don't even have to physically hit them or anything. You just disciplined a child, right? Get up, get over there. Don't ever do that again. The child has some kind of feeling towards you, and your child also has some emotional issues that you didn't see, and the child is plotting your death. So you go to sleep with your eyes closed, feet up, and you're dreaming, and next thing you know, pow, gunshot in your forehead. That's how I think. See, we're living in a crazy world today where the killers are getting younger and younger and younger. This isn't the first, second, third, fourth, or 10th time I've seen a situation like this. Welcome back to SoFlo TV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. I do these videos to keep people aware, to raise your awareness, because 99.9% of the time, the victims in these situations are adults who had no idea that that young person or child was going to take their life. It's a child taking his mother and his father's life or grandparents' life, and you just don't see it coming. So here's a story that just happened and was published by CNN today. 11-year-old boy has now confessed to killing a former mayor of a small Louisiana town and his daughter, the police said. 11 years old. An 11-year-old boy has now admitted to the police that he fatally shot the former interim mayor of a small Louisiana town and his daughter, authorities said. The child was arrested on Sunday afternoon after admitting to the police killing Joe Cornelius Sr., who is 82 years old, and Keisha Miles, who is Joe Cornelius's daughter. Keisha was 31 years old, and this happened in Minden, Louisiana, earlier that same day. Police Chief Jared McClaver said that during a news conference on Tuesday, these are the things they found out. So, Cornelius, the 82-year-old, he was a former long-term Minden City Councilman and former interim mayor of Minden. This is what the current mayor, said. So this is somebody who spent a long time in politics. Politics was his life. Joe Cornelius' years of service to Minden were marked by his commitment and his dedication to the betterment of our community. This is the current mayor, Mayor Nick Cox, said in a release photo on Facebook. On a personal note, I am grateful for his friendship and the ways that he supported me and others in our city. The little boy, who is 11 years old, who was described only as a relative of the victims, has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and is being held on a $500,000 bond. According to law enforcement, this is a 11-year-old being charged with double first-degree murder and held on $500,000 bond. It is unclear if the child will be tried as an adult. I saw somebody said in our recent video where we talked about Mavado's son doing a life sentence, committing his crime at 15, according to the person who testified in court, the alleged victim's father. And a lot of people were in the comment section saying, that's not right. They should have never tried him as an adult. Well, they do this all the time. Okay? So CNN now is currently working to determine if the boy has legal representation because he is a minor and he is such a small minor. He is 11 years old. They can't really get to him, interview him, speak to him without speaking to an adult who is responsible. maybe his parents, maybe his legal representative, etc. And no, his face will not be published in news media because he is 11 years old. The police found the victims in a home with gunshot wounds after a family member called 911. Authorities found two weapons hidden on the property, and their calibers matched the empty shell casings that were left at the scene. The chief police said without elaborating, it is unknown how the child got a hold of those guns, McClaver added. Now, come on now. This is a small rural town in the South, in Louisiana. Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, Texas. These places, it's not hard to get a hold of a gun. Especially in like Louisiana, Alabama, people go hunting in the woods. They keep their shotguns hanging out somewhere around the property. It's not hard. So, and children are taught how to fire guns at an early age because they do go hunting with the adults, right? So the boy told the responding officers that came to the scene a story at first that just did not add up. He's 11 years old. He's trying to cover up what he just did, and naturally, at 11 years old, they haven't really mastered the ins and outs of lying as yet. So he didn't really know how to properly cover his story up. Then he was taken to the police station by a guardian, and when he was taken there by the guardian is when he eventually confessed that he was the one that did it. The chief said the motive behind the double slaying remains unknown. I know we're going to be speculating right now as well. Maybe somebody was molesting him. Maybe somebody was sexually abusing him, and he eventually came to the conclusion that the best thing to do was to take them out because nobody would believe him. Maybe it could have been the 82-year-old politician. Maybe it could have been the daughter. We don't know, but that is all speculation. Back to the beginning of this video where I said I'm weary of the children of today, because this is definitely a different time we're living in. They went on to say that we're still piecing the puzzle pieces together right now, and there's a lot of pieces to put together, a lot of evidence that has been collected. Who knows why someone would do something this malicious at this age? Hell, at any age, but particularly at this age. This is gruesome for a 11-year-old to execute this level of violence, this finality, kill two adults who are close family members, shot to death, and then confess to the killings. Maybe this young boy had mental issues that nobody saw or people ignored, because you'll see it in other people's children, you'll see it in strangers, and you're quick to point it out. Miss Jones' son have a problem. The boy look like he's crazy. The boy act weird. But when it's your son, oh, that's just my baby, man. When it's your nephew, oh, that's just my nephew. You just have extra energy. I'm just wild like that. You're not seeing, you're dismissing. So could have been that too. We'll have to wait to hear exactly what happened and what the motive behind this was. McClaver said that everybody in the community knew Mr. Joe, and the city is in mourning because he is not just a regular citizen. He is somebody that served in government for a long, long time. That's what hurts the most. When you know somebody that's been in the community that long, that reached so many people, there's a sorrow, is what one person said. Cox again lauded Cornelius's career at Tuesday's news conference. Joe Cornelius, he said, was more than just a public servant. He was a committed leader who dedicated many years to the service of the city of Maiden. Joe's efforts to improve Maiden have left a lasting impact that will be remembered for years to come. Minden is about 30 miles east of Shreveport and has a population of more than 12,600. Now, we have to stay tuned to the story, and this story is updated with further information. But all we know for now is that the 11-year-old has confessed to the killing. The 11-year-old did not say somebody told them to do it. The 11-year-old has not given a motive why it was done. They have said that there is a lot of evidence that they have collected, and they're going through everything, and they will give us an update at a later time. And the 11-year-old has been charged with double first-degree murder and is now being held on a $500,000 bond, and they don't know if this 11-year-old has a lawyer as yet. You know how the Miranda rights go. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford one, one will be appointed unto you, etc. So naturally, he will be appointed a lawyer soon. Stay tuned. And remember what I said in the beginning of the video. You got to be careful. I don't care who calls me paranoid, but when I go to sleep at night, my doors are locked, especially my bedroom door. Now, my front door to my house is locked. My house has alarms on it, but my door, my bedroom door, is just that extra layer of security where I know that if one of my children go cray-cray, they won't come in there and take my life without me having a chance to defend myself. It's crazy to say that. It's crazy. It's just like telling people, yeah, I have $1 million life insurance policy, and everybody is like, you should never say that out loud, because one of your children might start thinking, ooh, I'm the beneficiary of dad's $1 million life insurance policy, and then kill you to get to the life insurance policy earlier so they can go live a lavish life. A lot of people will say that sounds strange. Why would you be afraid to say that? But it's reality. It has happened many times over. We've seen it many, many more times, right? Children have even killed their parents for less than $1 million life insurance policy, a couple $100,000. And I've covered these stories before. Anyways, this video was just to raise your awareness. Here's a follow-up to the story. The follow-up to the story says that the same story pertaining to the young boy. In other stories, it's saying that this child was 10 years old and not 11. And it says that an 11-year-old has confessed to fatally shooting a former Louisiana mayor and his daughter, with witnesses saying that an argument actually happened over credit card charges for video games, and this is what sparked the killing. Apparently, he took their credit card, charged up a bunch of money on it for his video games, and they were arguing with him about it, and he went and got the guns and caught them off guard and killed them. This is crazy. Now, Joe Cornelius, 82 years old, and his daughter, Keisha Miles, 31 years old, they were both shot multiple times. The unidentified minor confessed to shooting, according to Minden Police Chief Jared McClaver. Now, he is no longer unidentified, and we have his picture here because his picture was published. Now, like I said before, they got a confession, but in these cases, he said that wherein it's very delicate. When you're dealing with a child of this age, you know in their stage, we're looking at all kinds of different motives. What was the motive? What caused it? What sparked it? You know, since the victims were shot. Now, we said it before, right? It could have been anything. It could have been a bunch of different things that accumulated and it got to a boiling point. It didn't have to just be one thing about the video games. Now, it's one of those things that we've still got a lot of unanswered questions about. The lead police officer described the child as scared, but he said that the minor had the mindset to commit a crime like this. That's very telling for me. The lead police officer said the child is scared. Scared because the police has him now. He is in custody now. He's locked up. He's been caught. And the consequences of his actions are looking realistic. So he is scared. But he has the mindset to commit a crime like this. Now, what does that mean? I have no idea. And still, the boy's relationship to the victims is still unclear. They know that he's related, but it's unclear what the relationship is. Police responded to a house in Austin Street around 6:30 a.m. on Sunday morning after receiving reports of a lot of shots being fired coming from that house. Authorities found the victims inside the house with multiple gunshot wounds to both of the victims. Wow. Now, police said that they know where the firearms came from and that the juvenile has been accompanied by his grandmother, who is his legal guardian, during questioning. McClaver said that the boy showed no remorse for his actions. None. I think we all know what grieving looks like and what it should look like. And I just, didn't seem to see it on this young man, is what he told news media reporters. Neighbors heard 8 shots and claimed that Cornelius, the 82-year-old man, had been arguing with the 10-year-old over credit card charges for video games. Now remember, earlier we said he was 11 because the breaking news media said he was 11. Now they're saying he's 10. I think that's what happened. He was arguing with him. I heard them hollering and stuff. The unidentified neighbor, who is a child, told the outlet, I don't think that was right. The boy was autistic and he had autism, the neighbor said. So I don't know if being autistic and having autism qualifies you to commit double murder and get away with it. And Joe got to arguing with him, and it provoked him. The boy just pulled a gun out. I mean, Joe used to be a sheriff, so he has guns because he worked for the sheriff department, and the boy knows where all the guns are. It's just a sad thing. Now, this kind of reminds me of the situation that happened in Florida, where the young man was 14, I believe, but he was like 6'9" or 6'5" or something like that, and he ended up beating his teacher unconscious because his teacher took away his Twitch hand game set. And it said in his paperwork that that's one thing they should never take away from him. If you remove it from his possession, it could cause a violent reaction. Anyways, they just charged him as an adult the other day, and he got sentenced to prison for what he did to that teacher. So, and that's based on him being autistic. So now, off to this story right here, where they're reporting that this young man was also autistic. And the neighbor is saying, Mr. Cornelius knows that the child is autistic already. And I heard him hollering and yelling at him, and I don't think that was right. He knows the boy's autistic. He knows he has autism. And Joe's up there arguing with him. So that could have provoked him, set him off, made him feel unsafe, like he had to defend himself. But in the grand scheme of things, he did plan what he did to them, because he apparently left, went to go find a gun, came back, and killed them. Now, the police have not confirmed the relationship between the victims and the boy, nor if they had an argument prior to the fatal shooting or not. They're just going off of what the neighbors have said so far. Cornelius served as Maiden mayor in July 2013 when the mayor, Bill Robertson, had died. The 82-year-old was serving as district councilman when he took over, and he served as district councilman for decades. Cornelius is the 82-year-old man, and he was known throughout the community for his activism and having started the Concerned Citizens of Maiden, a group, in 1990 while serving as councilman. The initiative started after the 10-year-old boy told him There was nothing to do during the summer, so the group helped to organize events and scholarship funds. He also worked with the Maiden Black History Committee and Head Start Policy Council. Cornelius was also known as the ice cream man for selling the desserts to boys for a discounted price when their families couldn't afford it. That sounds weird to me. Why is he selling discounted desserts to boys when when their family couldn't afford it? Shouldn't they just say selling dessert to kids? Anyways, I remember him coming through my neighborhood about 7 years ago, and the boys got ice cream, but I had limited amount of money, and they wanted stuff that I couldn't afford at the time. He said they just pay as they can, but they can get anything they want. I was concerned that he would lose money on his business. He told me, "It's not about the money. I do this for the kids," is what Patty Handland Porter recalled. He was one of a kind. He retired in December of 2022 from his work as deputy marshal for the Webster Parish Sheriff's Office, according to news media reports. And it's a sad situation. The community is mourning the loss of Mr. Joe Cornelius. Mr. Joe was a nice guy to the police department. You know, just always brought a laugh and jokes and all. I mean, at his age, 82 years old, still getting around, still doing things, the people loved him. We never heard, or I've never heard anybody say anything negative about him all the years he's been here. This is just a terrible situation. The current mayor, Nick Cox, issued a statement after Cornelius' death in writing, and he said Joe Cornelius' years of service were marked by his commitment and dedication, which we read already. So we'll skip past that part. Now, Miles' son, Uriah 17, launched a GoFundMe to help pay for the mother of three's funeral, as well as support him and his two younger siblings. Mr. Cornelius' daughter was 31 years old, and she was also gunned down by this 10-year-old in the same house that her father was killed in. She leaves behind three children, and the 17-year-old has put up a GoFundMe to help with funeral plans, as well as to support them financially, the siblings left behind. I'm 17. My mom and my grandpa have left me on this earth with two siblings. I have to bury my mom on my own with help of some family, is what he wrote. The heartbroken son also took to Facebook to honor his mother, posting a video tribute. "Long live Keisha," he wrote. "I don't have any words to say right now. Just 31 years old, and your 17-year-old has to bury you. I am so confused right now. I don't know what to do. We never really talked about these types of things ever happening. I pray you find peace on the other side, Mama." So, back to the story. It is a baby that committed this murder. And like I said in the beginning of the video, when I go to sleep and I lock my doors and someone says you're paranoid, that's okay. We live in a world where you don't know what these children are thinking. Long gone are the days when you would discipline children and children would stay in a child's place. Now, there ain't no child's place, because children will think revenge and they will seek revenge, and they could try to get it even when you're sleeping. I'm just saying. Now, we'll stay close to this story as the story continues to develop and see what the outcome is. I still want to know what was the real motive behind him doing this. Leave your comments in the comment section below, and I'll catch you on the next video. It's SoFlo TV. I'm out. Peace.